Good morning, good evening, good night. Welcome to NFT Live on the Web3 network. It is a Friday. We survived the week in Web3. Yeah, I'm shocked too. A lot of things to be covering, a lot of interviews to be had here on the show. We're going to be talking generative art with Raven here in just a moment. A lot of things breaking, of course. It is very active times in our industry, and I'm happy to be sitting here with you guys at home. Prodigy, we see you. Welcome back. And I'm happy to also be up here with the aforementioned Raven and my beautiful co-host, Huda. Let's go around the pentabox here. I think it's a pentabox, but hopefully I got that right. Yeah, pentabox. Huda, I need to get on my Latin. But anyways, Huda, what's up, man? How you doing?
Man, today's a big day, like in NFTs always, but I swear to God, I almost picked my daughter up from school early today. Okay, so the Vision Pro pre-orders come out today, and it's actually live right now. And I go to pre-order one, or at least check out what like payments would be on it. You can't do it without an iPhone or an iPad, something that does like Face ID, because it wants to scan your head, like it wants to get the sizing of the band right. Like, shit, I can't order it. There's 80,000 units. I don't know if it'll sell out or not, but I swear to God, I might go grab her from school still. Like, I need to get one. That's my day.
I appreciate you informing us on that. Biggie Poppins, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing awesome, man. A great hike, and I'm so pumped for today's convo. Can't wait.
Whenever I do get the Moonbirds pick where you're hiking, like it always starts my day off well. I'm always like, all right, here we go. Energy's pretty lit. The vibes are strong. It's fun times. So happy to have you. Raven, how are you doing, sir? We'll get to a traditional intro, but how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I bought this whole setup for you guys, so you know, dude. I got the podcast set up for you guys, so I'm here. I'm ready to go. Let's do it,
dude. With the audio and video in your background and like you're already shooting up the ranks, even between our co-hosts here. I think you might have the best setup out of. I had
to show you guys up. Seriously. You know, you guys have all the charisma. You know, I gotta bring something, right?
I appreciate you joining us, man. Excited to get into your Prohibition drop here as well. Gifted, how are you doing, bro?
So good. And yeah, y'all smash the like for Raven and his AV production Riz over here. We need more guests who take this job seriously. He's looking great. He's looking so good. No more in 2024. I'm making a resolution right here, right now for all of you out there that we will no longer be accepting guests who are calling in from their McDonald's Wi-Fi. We're not going to do it.
Wow.
Higher standards in 2024 for NFT Live, all right?
Just walking around on the streets of New York, hitting different Wi-Fis. Yes, that I appreciate your commitment here, Raven. Look, we are Trailer Maxis, by the way, so let's watch this Prohibition trailer real quick. Again, I'm going to make my proper intro, but it's a Friday episode. Let's just watch a little bit of what's going on here. All right, I had to do that.
Yeah,
I just
looks great. Yeah, my brother is a videographer, and he's he collaborated with me on photographer too on Marfa Miller somewhere and some other projects. Oh, nice. So he's been doing a great job. I'm gonna be releasing the full version later this afternoon. So make sure you all check that out of just me talking about the project. But
I love it, man.
Yeah, but yeah, he's done a great job with this.
We're going to get to all those details here. Like maybe we'll just hit it right up front on the beginning of the episode. Guys, again, happy to be here with you. Like Gifted said, please leave a like. If you're watching us on YouTube, and by the way, we have Prodigy and Choina here for probably the first time. Like usually they're like catching it when they can. But yeah,
for a while there, I thought that Choina was the Jimmy Butterworth to Prodigy's Marty. I actually thought that was like, I thought, you never saw them in the same place, same time. There was something going on there.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll see what we can do with that. Simply Sunday. Happy Dob Day to you, sir. Prodigy, DP, who was on yesterday. First time ever being a co-host here on the channel. Nifty Castle, SP, Christian Jensen. We're just getting started here. If you guys can give a reply and a like, or wherever you are, just support the channel to get as many folks in here as possible. I'm doing that as well. Gift, before we get blasting off here on today's episode, could you hit us with the handy dandy disclaimer?
Well, of course we can, Q. But also don't forget, while you're helping out the show, doing the things with the thumbs and the clicky clacks that, you know, don't cost anything but really make a big difference. Remember to share it out on X. So Q, while I do the old handy dandy, if you want to do the old the linky dinky, let's do that. All right, look, here it is. One up there, one wall in the Wild Wild Web 3. Y'all know what it is. Do whatever the fuck you want, except do not speckle. Thou shalt not speckle is the one law, which of course we all know translates to this is not financial advices. We're not financial advisors, and we never will be. As far as I know, those test scores still haven't come back. So just remember, do your own research. Thank you very much.
All right, I appreciate that. Don't say linky dinky on this show again, though. Come on, please.
It felt right. I just went with it.
Before we get into a deep dive here with Raven's drop on Prohibition, we have a couple local news updates here. We are going live tomorrow for our first SEI show. So we've been covering the SEI blockchain pretty heavily. Yes, those are our dobs sitting up there, and we are going live at 11 p.m. Eastern. Thank you, Gifted. On Saturday for Say What, just to cover the entirety of what's going on over there on Say. We need our own show.
Dob, yes, those are our own dobs. And yeah, it's about time. We've been getting more excited and about everything that's happening over on the Say chain. And so it's about time that we start doing some dedicated Say content. Because as you know, our mission here is to bring you the highest quality editorial, entertainment, and educational content that we possibly can. So we want to be digging in further to everything on the SEI network. And yeah, Saturday night when Q's probably drunk, and you know, that's probably the best time to do it. We'll see if he even shows up. Frankly, I'm not even gonna depend on it, but hopefully some of y'all will come hang out with us. And what's the point here? The point is we're gonna start doing regular spaces dedicated to Say called Say What. Saturday, tomorrow night's going to be the first one that we do, but I'm going to start doing these a couple times a week. I don't know exactly which days. You just got to pay attention on our X profile. Maybe we'll do it Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays. I don't know, but Saturday, tomorrow's going to be the first one, and we're going to have fun.
Yeah, I was trying to find the post here because a lot of people commented, obviously, on this original post.
Do we have to?
Yes, we do have to. We do have to. I'm trying to find it right now.
It's clown world.
One project in particular was not too happy about us apparently hosting a SEI show and tagging them. Yeah, SEI subjects. I found it.
Oh, I saw something about that.
Who?
With some drama.
Dude, Florida, send it to zero. Not gonna make it. Amateur clowns. Let's not give them any more attention.
I'm giving them all the attention here. You like this is what you guys do.
SEI subjects.
I cannot wait for tomorrow's episode.
Well,
I'm gonna jump in the SEI subjects Discord and cause a ruckus.
Let's just say it's a very wild response to somebody who's legitimately trying to like promote your new project that just launched and like invite
we're
you
gonna
to
promote it.
Yeah, and then you look at like the Sangus or like some of the other projects who are like, yo, thanks so much for the invite. We'll try and stop through. It's like, yeah, why not? And then you got these people just fucking amateur toxic clowns.
You know what? Well, so like I hopped in their Discord because I heard it's kind of wild in there. And like at first I'm like, okay, strong milady vibes. And I don't know, like there can be something to that. And then like I stay in there just a couple minutes and I'm like, no, it's just a bunch of kids, like a bunch of tryhards, like trying too hard to be edgy. I'm like, it's not cool. It's not going to work. Like these guys suck.
15-year-old edgelord.
Yo, listen, first of all, Troy is saying a weekend show, yay, but Squashman saying definitely sweeping their floor, only $5. The Milady Vibes, I believe Huda was also sweeping off of Milady Vibes. Did you then floor your SEI subjects off this, sir?
Well, so I didn't buy them because I said that when I first hopped in, and then when I realized it's just a bunch of little kids, like, no, not touching them.
All right, we'll quickly move on. Again, we're hosting that Say What episode tomorrow. We're still trying to figure out the cadence, but again, we want to dive in heavier into the SEI network and everything that they're doing. So some other quick news here. Biggie Poppins, what's going on with Dead Bird Society, man?
Oh, man. So just super pumped. We got a winner. And it's a beautiful, beautiful piece. We have yet to release who the artist is, but if you voted you have a chance to mint this wonderful piece, which I really liked and voted for. I have been invictus when it comes to Command A. I have voted for every single winning piece, and I'm very proud to say that because I guess it means I have a good eye. But yeah, I can't wait to find out who it was. For all we know, it could be Raven, you know, and he's just sitting here chilling, all smug-faced and not saying anything.
Never know.
Yeah, it's
well, we will know.
Love about it. Yeah.
Biggie's the Moonbird Cabal, and yeah, Biggie, come on, we all know you've got good taste. Stop fishing for compliments over here. This man has an impeccable taste.
All right, so here's what we're gonna do for the remainder of the episode. We're gonna jump into the Prohibition drop that Raven has coming up here. Then we will be talking a little bit about what's going around in the market directly after that. So I've got Undeads Reveal that we can hit on. Beanie Maxi again is got some takes that I actually believe in, and I actually agree with him more and more. It's kind of weird that I have this experience nowadays in 2024. But Pacman was also speaking on the state of the market. We have some alt-chain stuff to get to. Killabears talking about some Solana pieces, artifact updates, as well as Pizza Ninja minting out, I believe. Huda, I know you've been covering that like crazy.
Yeah, they did exactly what I thought they'd do. They minted out. They're looking great on secondary. I'm kind of upset I didn't mint it, but also it's just so pricey, man. It's like to your guys' point, like you just can't keep doing it. So
I'm trying to figure out how to get into a quality ordinals project, and it's fucking difficult, man. Like maybe I just grind out trying to get the Quantum Cats allow list, but it seems like unless you do some crazy shit or you're tapped into the cabal already and getting on these allow lists, like you're not getting into any good projects for less than like 0.1 Bitcoin, which is just crazy.
There's a lot of that. Like everything you said is correct. I think then if you're going to spend a lot, you do it on the ones that are guaranteed, like really just a slam dunk. And I think Quantum Cats is that. We get those mint details today, and I do think it'll be pricey though.
All right, before we hop into this interview, I'm kind of going off the script. I promise, Raven, we will get to it, but I want your opinion here on one thing that happened yesterday, just from the artist perspective and kind of a meta perspective with CryptoUndeads. We saw the reveal happen. We know all the hype that happened. It's the question being thrown around at this point, especially for those of us in SEI. I mean, we're just seeing it over and over and over. Like, is pixelated art and that meta going to just get oversaturated, or is it oversaturated?
It is.
Do we like this art?
I think it's I mean, pixel art goes way back, you know, it's such a long history of pixel art. So, you know, it's nothing new, obviously, but you know, like anything, there can be innovations in it for sure. I think this art is really good, to be honest. I think it's, you know, it seems like a high fidelity. They got some good shading in there and things like that for kind of a low fidelity pixel art. But we'll see. I think it's like anything, you know, can people continue to innovate, continuing to do pixel art, right? It's a restricting medium. So it's, you know, it's sometimes challenging to kind of make art that sticks out and looks like, you know, doesn't look like everything else, right?
Yeah. Did you partake in these by any chance, Raven?
I didn't, but it was on my radar, and I've definitely checked out the art on it. But
did you like it? So what would you?
I liked it. No, I think the art's I think the art's good for pixel art, and I think, you know, the shading of it and things like that. It's solid. But again, is it anything like groundbreaking? You know, no.
Yeah, and that's kind of my leaning. Like, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. Maybe it's just my bias against a lot of like kind of low effort, in my opinion. I'm not saying these are low effort. With pixel art, sometimes for me, it's hard to even tell a difference. I know to the more astute eye, it might make more sense. Thread Guy's post here saying the only way CryptoUndeads Reveal matches the hype is if the art looks like puppets, MFers, or Kevin. There's no way to match the expectations with quality. High fidelity PFPs probably missed the mark, and the art lands somewhere in the middle, in the mid curve. So a lot of it might have just been the gamification again, like going this route where you're having the delayed reveal might lead to just outsized expectations and speculation, and it just nothing can live up to that hype.
Yeah, I mean, this played out, you know, I'm a civilian now, as they say, but I worked for Proof. I was on the Proof team. Biggie knows that's my thing. And this happened with oddities, right? Like, oddities was really Moonbird's oddities was really hyped, and everyone was like, we dragged out that reveal, right? And it was, and the eggs, and then it finally did reveal, and it's Gremlin art, which people should have expected, but a lot of people were like, they were expecting much more than what came out, right? So it's kind of this has happened a lot, with these projects.
Yeah, the misaligned expectations is a tough nut to crack, right? Because the marketing job and the team did their job as far as like creating the hype and the interest, selling it out, getting the liquidity and the secondary market pumping. Like they actually did an incredible job. And there's just no way really, like Thread Guy and I think everybody's saying here, for you just with a cool pixel art PFP to match the level of hype that is generated there. I think as far as pixel art goes, like it's good quality, but yeah, it's not anything that I think justifies the prices that it's been trading at really. And I just see it as like the Nakamigos of Solana right now. Like everybody like was so amped up on Nakamigos artwork. They're like, yo, this is fucking incredible. And again, as far as pixel art goes, Nakamigos is pretty good. It's pretty good pixel art, but is it anything truly innovative, or is there anything more there? Is there more substance behind that? We'll see. And, we've kind of seen the Nakamigos trajectory do that. And now it's kind of like down here floundering because, I don't know. They just, all they could keep doing was expanding the project and adding more dilution. They didn't have any other tricks other than that.
Yeah. You know what? Like people fudding this, especially collectors who are maybe fudding the art, fudding the project as a whole, and especially the ones that got wrecked. Like you're just fudding yourself and you're fudding your own maybe trading abilities. Like this is the same thing we've seen 15,000 times, more than that, 100,000 times now, over and over and over and over again. You can't really blame the project. If all they're looking to do is drop a PFP, there's no other expectations other than dropping the PFP, and they did that. So, yeah, I think the art's okay as well, right? I share, I think, all your guys' takes on it. Let's see where it goes. They're going to have something interesting for the backgrounds, and we don't know anything else beyond that. Let's see where it goes.
Biggie, real quick, I'm going to look at the comments really quick, and then I want your take. Squash is saying, I think the problem is that Dollar hyped this up too, compared to CryptoPunks, flooded a bunch of projects in the past and was heavily critical just to drop this. Expected more given his history. That was something that was brought up. Choin is saying, I heard they are all based on the shape of Dollar's CryptoPunk. Maybe true, question mark. But go ahead, Biggie.
Yeah, definitely true. I agree with that. There's a little bit of I don't want to call it poetic justice, right? But like how you relate to the people in this space can sometimes come back and haunt you. And I think, there's a little bit of that going on right now, and that's fine. I don't know, Huda, did you end up flipping out of the project, or you holding on?
I kept it. I mean, why not? Let's just see if he makes something cool out of it. If not, I mean, it was
so that was my play too. I flipped out of my 2 and then bought something else that I vibed with a little more, and we'll see it. But I think like I got my profit, and I got like a nice entry point later down the line. Now I did capitulate in something else that I think is bananas, but these moments, like, I think are those opportune moments where sometimes everybody's so laser focused on something like CryptoUndeads that I didn't know if you picked up on it, Huda, but Sujiko also minted out last night, and they actually flipped CryptoUndeads. And this is like a super high level dev that's been working on NFT perps on Solana for the longest time. And so I took the profits I made from there and I rolled them into Sujiko. And yeah, I'm
professional at play.
So you guys should check it out.
Yeah, see,
send me that link. Send me that link, Biggie. Huda, so you knew what was going to happen. We all knew that we didn't know for sure, but again, this playbook played out like you said over 1,000 times, and you still didn't pull the trigger on selling it.
Right. I mean, even a week ago when we were making predictions on the Lil Noun show, it was over under 17 Sol or so. A week later, I'm like, way under. This thing's going to be under 10, right? Like, so I knew this is how it would play out. I don't care. I'm kind of here for the ride. I'm here as an enjoyer. That's why we say don't speculate and don't listen to us. Like, we're fucking idiots. I'll speak for myself here, okay? So I ride things to zero.
Biggie, you're the least idiot up here, I think, right now. But
we're all in the Discord except you guys. We got badges to prove it.
As undead pixel art PFPs go, the genuine undeads are still the best art.
Your mic gif. It's all good.
The genuine undead. It's because you're changing screens while I'm talking.
But you're the only one it happens to, sir.
But there's nothing I can do about it.
I know.
The genuine undead pixel art, as far as undead pixel art PFPs, is still to me the best art out there. That's all I'm saying.
And here's the Shijiko Warriors that you were talking about, Biggie. You were saying that these minted out around the same time.
Yeah, around the same time, and I think these took longer to mint out, right? Like, so it was the classic case of like you have this super hyped project where everybody's just laser focusing on, and they completely missed. I don't want to say they missed out on that, but this one was kind of faded for a while, right? And you know, we've seen this play out in Solana right now with Mad Lads, and then we saw it with Tensorians, right? And I think these are very much following in line with that narrative in Solana where the PFPs come almost attached with like a privileged position, right, in like a product that team is building, right? In this particular case, it's NFT perps, which is not totally my jam, right? But I think, you know, it's something that I just feel safer holding, say, than something like CryptoUndeads, which I think does cater a little more to the degens, right? And like they do play a little more of like the D-Gods thing where they kind of hint at something's coming down the pipe if you're a day one holder, and so don't sell it, blah, 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 blah. But we've seen that game before, right? I'm playing both, folks. I'm not, you know, and not financial advice.
If you got some?
Well, CryptoUndeads was subtly hinting at tokens, right? So yeah, that's the other thing.
So Jico, so you mentioned it's a perps dex, which again leaning a little bit more into actually having a product, right, than just maybe vibes. So
correct. And the token and the dev is super well respected. I think that he started off at like a hackathon, got a ton of support. Okay. Really has, I think you can see like the Solana community behind him, right? And so I just felt it's a pretty decent play.
All right, I love it. All right, let's get into this because we have a very special guest, Raven, here, who has an upcoming drop on the 24th here. So upcoming very quickly, 5 days from now, on Prohibition Art. Let's play the trailer one more time. We are Trailer Maxis. We're going to play this Dots piece. You said you have an updated piece.
I can play an updated trailer. I can premiere it here. So, and I got it all set up. So I'm just going to mute. I'm going to mute you guys though, so we don't get feedback, but let me share my screen. We're doing it live. Let's see if this works.
Doing it live. I love it.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
All right. Let me actually mute I'm gonna mute you guys and then give me a second.
Oh, we might not be able to hear it.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah, we can't hear it.
Maybe you can send us the link. You can send us the link here on the private chat.
And a pixel is essentially
oh,
there it is. The atomic unit of my art so far. If you take all the complexity out of all the work I've done so far and you boil it down to the base elements, that signal dot is it. The base unit of digital art is the pixel. And a pixel is essentially a dot. So I thought, what if we could recreate the pixel but give it my signature on it? And then give control to the collector to use those dots to create different compositions, just like a pixel creates all this digital art revolution that we're seeing now. It's different than any other project I've made. The beauty of it is that I'm making a system for play and a platform where new experiences can be potentially built on top of it.
All right. First of all, I'm shocked that worked while we were live with the restream software.
Come back over here and unmute you guys.
Yeah, great work.
Now.
Awesome. Look, I'm just happy that went off without a hitch. Usually live shows that can get a little dicey. But yeah, that was a great intro. I've got a bunch of different things we can show up here on the screen, man. Let us know what's happening. Let's just dive deep into what's happening with Prohibition and this dots drop.
Yeah, sure. So, it's showing the video, like this is something that, I've been working on for a while, and I've always wanted to be in my art to be pushing the boundaries and doing something new. And in this case, I knew that, after seeing Snowfro and Jordan's inclusive edition drop Heart and Craft, which was last year, right? At some point, I knew that this was going to have to be something that, I wanted to basically extend to, layer twos and what those allow for, and to do something much bigger, and to have something that starts out as a kind of a really low price point, but has the ability and something for everybody to kind of use these dots, these building blocks, to kind of use them in different experiences. So, the first experiences that I'm releasing is this composites one, where you're going to be able to take your dots that you mint on Prohibition and pass them into a different contract and actually make composites with them. And one of the beauties of that too is that it's two-way, right? Like we also built a way to disassemble these, to burn them and to get the dots back out. And then you can use them for new experiences in the future, or make bigger, different composites, or bigger ones, whatever you want to do. So working on this composite builder to do that. And so it's what I love about it is one dot I view it as a singular piece. And if you want to buy one dot for $5 and that's and you love it, that's great. I think the singular dot is just a great piece of art in general. But then that there's this whole ecosystem that we can start of that we can kind of put into all these different experiences coming up, that I can build and potentially get other artists to build experiences that take dots, etc. And I'm just like super pumped to see where this goes. Right? I don't even know. Like, this is just the start, right? So I'm excited.
One thing off the bat is I love attention to detail. I love color theory, color science, and the way that you matched your shirt to the palette of your dots. It was well done. It was well done. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, I'm so stoked about this. I think, like you said, like the part that it makes me so motivated to get my hands on a bunch of dots is what you said, is that like even you don't know what's going to be possible, right? Like what ideas are going to be conjured up, whether it's through you or a collaboration of another art. But I can see so many applications for this mechanism that you're developing, and the dot being like the atomic unit to this little ecosystem that you're starting with. My only thing is like, how many dots are enough? Like, I don't want to get to a point where, like with Legos, you start running out and you're like, God damn it, I need more to complete the whatever hell I'm building, or whatever piece.
So that's one of the things too that I like about this being an inclusive edition, meaning an open edition. I mean, I potentially could reduce supply later, but there's not going to run out anytime soon, the supply of dots. So they're going to be, the base unit of dots are going to be available, on Prohibition for around $5, and on Floor App too. You're going to be able to go on Floor App and mobile mint on there with a credit card. I think that's one of the things I really like about this too, is like, say somebody that like this could be their first NFT. You spend $5 and you give them an NFT, from an Art Blocks artist, and I think that's something I wanted to do, and something that's special is like, we can have just that person that that's their first NFT, and that's what they're doing, all the way up to someone that's going to want to go for, I'm going to build the biggest composite with the most dots in it, and that whale collector that wants to really push the limit. And I think this system has something for everybody in it, so, and in the way I'm designing it, like on that front, there's going to be prizes, like one of the things I haven't announced yet, but I'll announce it now, is that the person that makes the biggest composite, and I think it's going to be 2 weeks post launch, is going to get my super rare Genesis piece. Wow. So, I haven't released anything on super rare. I have I don't have anything on there. I'm approved for super rare. So whoever makes the biggest composite with the most amount of dots is going to get my super rare Genesis for free. I'm going to airdrop it to him.
Dude,
So-
I'll tell you what, like, I love the gamification of art and the gamification of ideas and just playing around in tech. We're so damn early in this stuff, and people who are being very innovative with art like you're being right now, I don't think many people have thought out like 5, 10, 15 years down the road what that actually can evolve into, what we as a community like together actually grow it into. It's an interesting way for the artists and collectors to really collaborate together. So I love this kind of thing. I never touched checks, and I wish I did. Something like this is like instantly appealing to me because of that, because it's more about it's kind of a heady project, and I love it, man. So can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited. It means so much for the feedback that everyone's been giving, and I'm really excited for Wednesday, for the launch. And not only just the launch, but right, it's not just one launch, right? It's continuing to evolve this ecosystem and find use cases for dots, right? And to figure out, whether that's generative clothing or, could we go into retail, do some retail thing where we sell something into retail and they can claim dots by buying something physical, like there's so many avenues I have and so many ideas I have of this. And that's what I love about it, is that it's not just some art blocks drop or a drop on that I've done in the past where it's like, okay, release it and it's sold out. And, then it's just speculation, move on after that, on to the next project. This is something that has the ability to continue to be expanded on, right? So I'm really excited about that.
If you do physical, sir, please do something better than those Chromie Squiggle god awful sweaters. Those to me were so. And then seeing Snowfro rocking them in that picture, I was like, oh. Yeah. No. What are the details for like obviously a ton of collectors in our community? What are the specific details for the drop? I know it's on the 24th, so upcoming next week.
Yeah, it'll be on Wednesday. It's going to be released at 2 p.m. Eastern time on PROHIBITION.art. And that's going to be the main dots site is going to be on Prohibition. And then to mint the composite, you're actually going to go to raven.art, r4v3n.art, which is my site, which will have the actual experiences that you can use the dots for. You also can download the Floor app, and it will be right on the mobile minting tab there, and you can pay with Apple Pay and credit card, and then send it to any wallet you want.
What's the cost?
So day one,
we're going to set it on the day of, and it's going to be about $5 in ETH. So that's what I'm aiming for. And that's something like we would not be able to like do this, right, if it wasn't on a layer 2. But the beauty is that even Prohibition now, like you can pay with credit card on Floor. You don't even have to do bridging anymore. You can pay with ETH, like regular ETH through their bridge, and it will do the bridging for you in the back end and stuff like that. So the layer 2 is actually getting extracted out, right? So, but obviously a $5 mint, like you can't have the gas prices would be on layer 1 would be, it would just eat that up. So I knew from the beginning that this had to be on a layer 2 to be able to enable this level of interaction.
I think it's great, man. A couple projects mentioned here as possible inspiration or predecessors. You mentioned Art plus Craft or Heart plus Craft.
Yeah.
There was a mention of
QQL, I think, by Tyler Hobbs. Checks, obviously.
I was going to throw QQL in here to see, like, do you see any similarities? Was there anything you took from that as like an inspiration for this?
For sure, yeah. I think one of the commonalities with there is that I'm giving the creative control to the collector on the composite side, because those exact dots that you pass in go into the composite, right? It's not okay. You're going to pass in 20 dots and those 20 dots are going to be, you're going to get complete new dots in the composite. No, the dots that you pass in are going to go into the composite. So
have you thought through some kind of limitation or expiration to make sure that people execute what they need to do on their side, so you don't get stuck in like a endless, waiting for people to generate?
What do you mean by that? Sorry.
Or compose. Well, I guess my understanding is like you buy the dots, and then with those, you have to take an action to create a thing.
No, they're two separate things. You can just buy dots, and dots are completely separate. They're their own NFT. They are individual NFTs. Those are $5. You need 12. So one of the specifics I should have said is you need at least 12 dots to make a composite. So you can then take those dots go on raven.art. There's going to be a builder on there that you're going to be able to then basically use MetaMask just like a regular transaction. You're going to approve my contracts access to dots, and then you're going to basically all your dots are going to show up there that you own, and you're going to be able to create this composite and then you're going to be able to see it and then mint it, you know, and then those actual dots are being passed into, you know, the contract. They're going to get locked up in this custom minter we developed. And then, but you're also going to have at any time have the ability to take that composite NFT and burn it and get those dots that you passed in back out. So, you know, and use them for something else, you know, make another composite, do another experience. So you don't lose your dots.
My question is coming from, I guess there's been an interesting situation on QQL where, you know, he was expecting people to be more eager about actually generating art. And a lot of people just kind of created the mint passes and are sitting on them. So that's why I'm just curious if you've thought through any sort of like ways to incentivize people to like take actions by certain times or anything like that. Or you're just like, whatever happens, happens.
Definitely. So like, that's one of the things I've been thinking about a lot is like on the composites, I'm finalizing details, but I don't know exactly how much the time period, but there will be a special treatment I'm thinking of that's going to delineate the you know, it's either going to be 2 weeks or a month post launch. I'll announce it early next week, but there's going to be something special about those composites that are created in the first 2 weeks or month post launch that won't be available after that. So that will give some people the incentive to make composites sooner and give also some, you know, it to be limited in a sense. Those composites will have a special, you know, treatment to them that they won't be accessible after that. So that's kind of my solution for that. And then also there's going to be perks, like I mentioned, of, you know, largest composites going to have, you know, going to get my super rare Genesis piece, you know, I'm thinking of doing, you know, obviously there's going to be ones that necessarily aren't based on size, but also, you know, I'm going to pick some that are the most artistically pleasing, at least to me, and, you know, award those collectors that are building those that I think are really, they're building composites that are really special. But the difference between QQL is that, you know, that's a mint pass, right? The mint pass here is actual art. So I don't have a problem people not using their dots for composites, because I mean, the dots stand themselves, you know, they're their own individual things, and it's not composites just the first experience, right? Like people are going to be able to use these dots for other experiences in the future that, you know, are different, but maybe, you know, I hope that those experiences, you know, take in effect the fact that what you pass in, you know, is going to affect your output. So whether it's generative clothing or anything like that, the colors you pass in of what dots you pass in to mint the generative clothing will determine what the color is of the clothing, right? Or the composition of it, right? Or what it looks like. So, you know, QQL is definitely an inspiration, but I think this takes it to like another level, right? Than what QQL started with, right?
I think so. And what I love about it is like the collaboration aspect of it, right? Because you don't know what artists or people decide, like you said, to build with the composite, right? Like to make different stuff. And one of the things that I love thinking about, and even when Hearts and Craft came out and people talked about the you know, open mint, like there is a limit, right, Raven? Like I forget what it is. It's like 1 million, right?
Yeah,
like,
it's 10 million there's a hard limit in there. I mean, if we get that, I'll see you all later and I'll retire.
I always like to fantasize. I like to dream big, but you know, you never know. It'll take a while, but it can happen. You never know. One of the things that I do like about it is the idea of like, you know, you get incentivized by, say, a particular mechanic, right, or artist or collaboration that you come out. But once you feed those dots through, right, and you get this composite that you like and you mint, let's say something else comes along, but you don't want to let go of that composite, right, because it's the goose of the dots ecosystem. So either you go get more dots or you don't want to burn it. So there is like a bit of a deflationary mechanism there that's kind of like auto-imposed, right? Like by choice. Like it's like, okay, this composite I will never surrender because it's so unique.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, if you know that special treatment, you know that you know the composites that mint in the time the limited time period get minted, if any of those get burned and the people get the dots back out, you know, there'll never be another one of those, right? It's not like they can use those dots again and create another one of those type of composites. So
And you regenerate until you get the output that you like, I'm supposing, right?
So there is no like real generation because it's based on the dots you pass in. So you're able to order them and things like that, but you know, it's really not much, you know, on my end that's happening on the artist side. It's really up to the collector. On the actual dots, obviously, but on the composites, you're passing it in, you're ordering it, you're figuring out. It's like pixel art, right?
So you have full control of what your composite's going to look like. Like you're going to place the dots.
Yes, and there's rarities to the dots, and so there are, you know, there's also composite modifiers which people will be able to play with. There's certain dots that affect the composite in pretty big ways. So there's like a grayscale one that will actually turn the entire composite. If one dot has a composite modifier of grayscale, it will turn the whole composite gray.
Oh, wow.
in grayscale, right? So there's almost filters you're able to put on those composite modifiers, right?
So
all right, so last questions here, guys. We do have to move on into the episode, but I definitely want to get all of the last information here. I also dropped the Twitter link or X link for Raven's profile. He's obviously posting a lot about the upcoming drop with Prohibition, but Gifted, go ahead. And last questions, guys.
Yeah, mine's more of a statement, man. I think it's awesome that you're going on Prohibition with this because I love that platform. You know, we're big fans of Jordan Weil, and I do think that that there's a lot of opportunity and potential. It just needs more quality projects like this to be, I think, joining in over there on Arbitrum. So I'm very excited for that. You know, that you're doing this sort of scalable, affordable, creative, interactive thing, man. I think it's awesome. And also I see your infinite objects back there. I'm staring at one right now too. So that's cool. But yeah, man, I just think it's great. And yeah, there's always like a level of risk and uncertainty whenever you like open up, you make it interactive, right? You're relying upon people and like to take actions. And I just think it's exciting and it's bold and yeah, it's innovative, man. So yeah, congrats. Excited to see how it goes.
Thanks. Yeah,
I'll
I'm excited. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. The modifiers, do they stack, and are there certain modifiers that play against other ones? Like, is it going to get kind of wild?
It can get wild. I mean, I've made it so that they work well together. But you know, for example, there's things that change the background color, but you could potentially put a background on there and then have a grayscale modifier that changes the whole thing. So they do stack on top of each other. So yeah, and there are some types of dots, like there are precious metal dots that I've had in there that are really rare that, you know, if someone really wanted to make like a full gold, you know, composite, that would be pretty crazy. And, you know, I don't even know what it would take to do that. But so there's definitely a lot here that to play with, that collectors can kind of play with, kind of discover and aim for, you know, if they want to participate in this. That's I've kind of set up that I think is interesting and is going to be fun to play with, you know.
Yeah, I love it. I'm gonna have a field day with it next week, right?
Me too, man.
Next Wednesday, yeah.
24th, sir. All right, 24th. You guys heard it here first, or maybe second or third, or whenever you did. But we did the best at covering it, of course, here, sitting with the artist himself, Dots, next week on Prohibition.art. Shout out to Jordan Lyle as well, the OG himself. All right, Raven, you can stay with us. You can pop out if you're busy or anything like that.
Here.
We're just gonna touch.
I'm happy to shoot the shit. That's what I'm here for, man.
Nice.
Hell yeah! All right, I appreciate
That's
it.
that's what the new
swear on this
setup
show?
is for. Fuck yeah, my guy, dude. That's what the setup's for, right? He's got to make it. You know, he's invested in it. He's got to get the most out of it. He's got to get something. So yeah,
Exactly.
All right, I love it. If you enjoyed that interview, please leave a like here on the channel. Leave just support us in the ways that you can. It's going to be sharing it out on X. It's going to be leaving that like. If it's your first time here, we do NFT live every single day, 1 p.m. Eastern here on the Web3 network. So thank you guys for tuning in. We know you have a bunch of different things you could be doing. You're just spending your time with us. All right, let's get into, I mean, I don't really have a great segue, so I could take a look here at Pacman's tweet talking about the market in general. And I know I'm going to lean, of course, on Huda, our market analyst, but this is Pacman. The first time he's tweeted in a while, I think. Here, obviously the founder behind Blur and now the upcoming Layer 2 Blast. It's been incredible watching the NFT market's growth the past few months. Shout out to Hill Dobby for the comprehensive NFT dashboard. And you can see the reason he wants to share this. Obviously, Blur taking up a majority of volume here. But that spike, fellas. So there's two things I'm looking at. One, yesterday's spike. Two, this is ramping up. The volume on Ethereum, and this is only Ethereum. This is ramping up pretty heavily. It's what we want to see going into a bull market.
Dude, what have I been saying for like 3 weeks now, right? And I've been using the charts and the indexes to show that. People were moving away from Solana. They were moving back to Ethereum. We saw, and dude, funny enough, I said we would see it in those indexes before people start talking about it. Now you got to talk about it because it's exactly what we're seeing happen. It's playing out. But I'm with you as far as it's great to have some action back in ETH. We've missed it. It was long overdue, but here it is. So I'm with you, man. I'm pumped about it.
Anybody got any takes? I'm looking for one specific post that might drive people up a wall. Oh, I found it. I found it. This is 3 months ago. By the way, first of all, if you want some pain here, Mochaverse at 0.6, Pudgy Penguins at 4.7, San Francisco Genesis Pass at 0.2. We talked about all of these, by the way. Like literally, I just continue to fade, even though we're on the front lines of this thing. And other than parallel avatars, I just didn't get any of this stuff. So
I'll tell you one thing. Pudgy Penguins, Luca is he's a genius, man. Like he is really. I think when I think about the future of this industry, I think Luca really gets it, and I think going to retail, getting into Walmart, low priced, and and I think there's so many ways to onboard, right? That way too, like, by going into retail and having something that's a low price thing. Oh man, you get the stash there.
He's one of those.
Jesus, Huda, relax,
man. You should give those to some kids.
Like
or
a
something, man.
50 more upstairs.
You're like that guy at the ballpark that like rips the baseball out of some kid's hand.
This is the image of future generational wealth right here. That's what it looks like. It's a bunch of Pudgy Penguin plushies from Walmart that turn into like actually next baby.
But that retail, like I was saying, like you go into retail, I think that's a way, because I think the problem with our community is just like, like it's so insular and it's hard to when you're here and you're having the show and you're listening to the show. Like I think we're all like, you're talking to people that are already here in the industry, but you don't realize how small this place actually is, right? Like it really, like, I mean, you look at the general population, not many of the people have ever collected an NFT. It's probably, 95+% of the probably higher, honestly, of the population has never collected an NFT. Yeah. So, like we have to figure out a way to get more people onboarded. And I think going in retail and having them buy a plush or something like that, and that has some QR code that you can download an app and it sets you up with a wallet and onboards you into some, cheap NFT or something like that, but get you onboarded, right? Like, and maybe only 10%, 20% of the people like actually go and do that. And some people just buy it for being a plush or whatever. But, that's how we build this space and we get more people in here and appreciating what we're doing, right? And that should be the number one thing that all of us are pushing for, right? That's the way it goes.
And I do appreciate the Pudgy Penguins for doing so, because a lot of people were looking at, Beanie, one of the takes that he did have that I actually disagree with at the time was that Walmart wasn't going to do anything for the Pudgy Penguins, or all of these things weren't going to lead into maybe value into the collections and this feedback between holders and a potential business. All of these things were kind of a thesis at first, and you can see it's being proved out a little bit. So as much shit as I take being a Bored Ape holder and in the community, and the Pudgy Penguins are and everybody's kind of kicking us while we're down a little bit, even though we're the number one collection, and especially if you add CryptoPunks in there, by the way, Yuga Labs. But yeah, I'll deal with it. It's all fun and games, but I'm glad that Pudgy Penguins was able to prove out a little bit of that thesis.
Yeah, I would say it's It's proving it out a lot of bit, not a little bit. They're almost like a 20th floor right now. And that Beanie take was one of the worst takes I've ever seen. And to be fair, he got ratioed and had to walk it back. But yeah, speaking of bad takes, everybody that was like basically saying Ethereum was dead or crashed like a couple weeks ago, they're so short. Like, dude, I just despise the short term shitty engagement farming bad takes out there. Whenever something has a dip or something else takes off, everybody uses that as an example to shit on everything else. It's fucking dumb.
Cat's Fanatic saying, love this take and completely agree. Luca created a blueprint. How many other projects will be able to follow a similar path into retail? It will be fun to watch. Huda, Biggie, you guys have anything?
Yeah, for Raven, our Pudgy Penguins and S tier collection.
Oh, you mother.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. It like, you know, I think the thing is that the art, maybe not. I don't think so. The provenance, no. Like, they don't have the history that kind of Bored Apes and CryptoPunks have. I think, you know, the creativity and the able of bringing new people to the space. I think, you know, this is an evolving space. It's not just about, you know, the past, right? And who did what first. I mean, in this case, it's going to be onboarding people. I think, you know, we have to grow the space and get new collectors, and those collectors are going to be part of determining what are the S tier collections, right? It's not just going to be the people that are here now.
If your project has performed as well as Pudgy Penguins have throughout the bear market, have now established a stronghold well above a 10 ETH floor, it's one of the most valuable PFPs in the world. Their trajectory is more impressive than any others, and they've literally created the standard, the guidebook by which every single other Web3 native IP is going to try and establish a real business model. Like, I'm sorry, how can you not, when the pickings for an S tier project out there that are doing legitimate business are so fucking small, it's almost zero. They're literally almost a one of one when you look at it in terms of like a business model and a business standard. So
Yuga's obviously betting everything on the metaverse and on this gaming thing, and that's the direction they're going to go.
They're walking it back a little bit. You can see it in the environment that they're acting in now. They're saying the yacht club's back. They're releasing a new website, and they're trying to lean into this clubhouse. They're walking that back, but you're right that they definitely leaned into it heavy over the last 2 years.
And I think I just don't see like my problem is, again, like I was saying, is how does that get new collectors into the space? Is you really going to, even if it's a great game, you know how much competition there is in games? Like, you know, like you'd have to be the best game and then get every single person, like people wanting to pay $60 to play the game, right? And then somehow onboard them that way. Like, again, like I think that the main thing in this space is we have to get more people in here. We have to get more fresh blood. And the way to do in creative ways of doing that is the projects that are going to win, right? And I just don't know if a game it has to be really, really fucking good to, you know, get people to actually come, the normies come and actually play it, right? And then onboard them that way or something, you know? Like, we need to grow the space is my main thing. So that's how I'm judging projects these days.
So by that metric, then I would think Pudgy Penguins would constitute an S tier. But as far as walking it back, like I think what they're walking back, to your point, is that it seems like they kind of did a full all-in move on the other side, and they probably realized like, oh shit, we're now setting ourselves up possibly to fail.
The
because
power was our community.
Well, exactly what Raven's saying too is that there's such a high likelihood that a game does not actually like really compete at the level that we would need it to for that to launch us into that next place. And so, yeah, it's the community. They lost the community. They lost the club, which is what made them special in the first place. And so, yeah, they're diversifying a little bit more back into that. I don't think they're like getting rid of the other side investment. They're just saying maybe we shouldn't put all of our eggs into the other side basket right now.
The real differentiator when you look out across Bored Apes and Pudgy Penguins right now, the most obvious advantage that Bored Ape has is that they've been able to have community members build out their own businesses and brands based on Bored Ape Yacht Club. There is none of that going on with Pudgy Penguins. It's strictly top down coming from Luca, and there could be in the future a lot of these businesses that pop up that have pudgy branding, but there's not yet.
I will say, like, I love both routes that these people are taking, right?
Yeah.
Like, one is metaverse and gaming, which I do think can onboard a lot of people in spite of the competition. I happen to think that other games are not even the biggest competition to that. It's TikTok. It's just everything else that grabs our attention right now in the digital realm, right? Like, I don't know between that and casual gaming, which is going to win out, right? But I think it's an excellent route, and that's something that I commend them for. What I do love about Luca's approach, and others like 90cc and say, where you're going directly to retail, is that and we've heard it time and time again, there's nothing better than word of mouth. And I've come to realize, like, the best thing that you can do is have somebody stop you IRL in the street, a complete stranger, and say, what is that? What's that? What's this fucking squiggle thing you got on your head? What's that dot you're wearing? What's that little penguin, And until it doesn't become a question, until everybody knows it, like, oh, that's a pudgy penguin. Oh, that's a squiggle. That's what we're trying to get to. And I think one of the best ways to do it is to put these things out in real life, because as long as they just live in our wallets, in our phones, in our fucking computer, nobody else is going to give a shit.
Yeah. And what do you guys think about VeeFriends in the cards thing? Like, I'm curious your takes on that. Like, this is kind of, they're trying to go for that.
Gary
thing,
V.
right?
Where is Gary?
I think Gary V's working, man. He's got his head down, and that's what I had to guess. Look, I'm not trying to sit up. Whenever you say something good about Gary, or like think that anything that he does is good, everybody accuses you of being a fucking simp. I'm not simping for the guy. What he's accomplished is tremendous. It's very, very impressive. And what he means to, like, content creators, social media strategists, agency people, like, what that dude has fucking done, different creators around the world, is fucking impressive.
I will
And
say,
as
we
an
call you a
entrepreneur-
simp because you go into one of these every time.
I wish I didn't have to
That's
quote
why.
just saying something like that I believe in what he's doing long term. I think right now, like, everybody suffered because almost nobody's kept the hype that they had in the last bull cycle through the bear market. And so VeeFriends has been in a tough spot. VCon 3 is going to be in LA. It's probably going to be lit. It's still like the greatest Web3 conference basically out there, other than maybe Marfa, which looks fucking lit. And yeah, man, I think, again, he's also thinking long-term sustainable business.
Your audio, bud.
It's because it keeps changing. So he's also
I have to
long term.
I know.
I got an idea for that, guys.
You just don't say anything.
But yeah, don't say anything. Just let it go, because it's going to keep happening every time it changes. So look, he's just like Pudgy Penguins and Luca. He's thinking long term. How do I build a sustainable business model? How do I get more people in? How do I think product, etc. And so yeah, the cards, the plushies, all that type of stuff. I think he's doing a lot there. What I will say is that as far as the quality of the actual underlying IP itself, Pudgy Penguins is better. That's to me the core difference here. Is like VeeFriends, they can have all of the business, minds and superpower and resources behind it. If people don't resonate with the characters and the story and all that shit, it's not going to take off or have as much success at the end of the day. Pudgy Penguins, Luca, like you talk about Luca being brilliant. He had the vision. He saw what it could be and the quality inherent within the basic just JPEG assets. He said, yo, these cute motherfucking penguins at $2 million are a fucking steal, because I can turn this into a global IP on the likes of Hello Kitty, et cetera, et cetera. And he's fucking, and then he's got the execution to whatever.
We don't like the turtle. Like, we don't see that people fucking with this turtle here.
Yeah, the art's
he's
tough.
taken these, he's evolved these into something much more interesting, but it's still like, are they actually that great? That's the question.
Yeah, I like your tip here, Huda. So when I change, this is usually what happens. So I'm very surprised that video earlier went off without a freaking hitch, basically, because this is how live audio works. But yeah, whenever I switch something while you're talking to add context to what you're talking about, we could just bring the mic a little bit closer. Maybe that's like, as you see me switch, maybe we can we can bring it closer. That might be the fix going
I'll just
forward.
try and talk very softly, very close to the microphone.
Huda
like it.
and Biggie
We
Poppins.
got ASMR going on here.
Yeah.
Turned into an ASMR show.
Takes on VeeFriends. Huda, Biggie Poppins.
I've always wondered if the price of VeeFriends right out of the gate was what made it like really hard for people to connect with them. Like Pudgy Penguins, I guess they've had that at points, but they've always been a little more affordable and a little more accessible. And they're so fucking cute. So I mean, they have that going for them. But the price of the VeeFriends ecosystem, to me, it was always a thing you just can't touch because it's too expensive. And I wonder if that's what kind of hurt even the cutesy brand that they have. Even though V2 are so much cheaper, right? But I wonder if there's something there.
I think it's also the fact that, like, you know, Luca was in the Pudgy, you know, ecosystem before he became the owner, right? Or the leader of it, right? Like he had been already a Web3 adopter, right? Whereas I think, like, I don't know, it's like a bottom up versus top down approach, right? Like Gary Vee is already a really well-established marketer that he decided to adopt, you know, and he was also, I know, buying punks and everything, but he decided to go into it from his perspective, which is already, like, you know, very macro as a marketer, you know, dealing with a whole bunch of other things. And he thought that this was the best approach. Whatever you may think about his art, I think he's very capable, and I don't see him not doing well. But what I do think is that serves Luca very well is that he came into it like just from you know, also being a great marketer and e-com and all that, but first of all as a customer and as a member of the community, and then took up the reins and decided to say, I'm going to make something out of this, right? I think just that's a better narrative, all in all.
Yeah, I think all of you guys have said a piece of why Pudgy's has been a little bit more successful, or a lot of bit more successful than VeeFriends. To me, maybe like on just the general like 20 IQ take, it feels like Pudgy's is a real good mix of degens plus being a little bit cute and memeable. Whereas like VeeFriends, like the degens just don't fuck with that. With whatever the VeeFriends are, Series 1 or Series 2, it's just like, nah, I'm good. And what I see is a lot of DeFi guys have Pudgy Penguins as their PFP. Like there's a good mix and healthy mix of we could have a top funnel, but also people in the industry fuck with us. Even when it was at a 2 ETH, 4 ETH floor, or whatever it was, people were rocking them as PFPs.
And that's actually a magical combination that is almost, it's so difficult to have that, where it's literally like somehow you have the commercial qualities that make you family friendly and accessible enough to be in Walmart, and yet you have something that's cool enough about you that degens still fuck with you. Like these two worlds don't usually come together very well, and that's exactly the valley, the chasm that VeeFriends has fallen into, is that gap between where degens and DeFi and the Web3 community usually lives, and where Walmart, Chuck E. Cheese, and all this fucking commercial Web2 bullshit is. There's not usually a bridge there, and somehow Pudgy Penguins built one, and that's a special fucking sauce.
Raven, I appreciate you bringing in the questions, man. Like you see how heated and awesome that conversation was.
No, I want to hear it because this is what I'm you know, I think that this is the future, like I said, and I'm glad you guys are thinking about it, talking about it, and you guys got good takes. So that's what I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, so last question here. Everyone's been talking about the flippering. Does it happen? Yay or nay, Raven? The flipping of Bored Ape.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't think so. Okay. I don't know. In the short term, no. But I think potentially, if we stretch it out, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
If token.
At the risk of losing GIF here on a Friday, I am going to bring up one story here because there is an interesting twist on this Trump situation. Mike Finch brought up in our chat that there is officially a Trump token. Like you would have thought this already exists. I think there was, but this actually has been officially endorsed. This Trump token has been officially endorsed by his team, and a percentage of the fees that are being charged, because you do have some tokens that are set up that way where you actually get a fee when selling, is going to the team's wallet. Like to fund his campaign, a meme token exists. And this thing is pumping, by the way. This thing is off the rails. It's not, I think Mike was calling potentially, if he wins the election, $1 billion market cap. It's at 40 million right now.
Just be aware that you're also paying for his legal fees and whatever else that he decides to do with that money.
Yeah.
And it's like again, look, it's
Fucking
open
ridiculous,
market.
man.
Like
On Solana,
look,
by the way, I think.
it's an open market. It's capitalism. Y'all do with your bags what you want to do. You already know my values won't let me touch this shit. But some people are gonna get make money off of it.
It's insane though. Like, how did who does he have that he has some degens in his administration or something? Because no other political candidate could pull this off where they're releasing NFTs and meme coins and shit coins, and I mean it's crazy. Where are they coming up with this?
I agree, man. I want to know who their BD people are or whatever, who's handling this, because once this is all over and if they have other hobbies or passions that they believe in and they come up with another project, I want to know, man. They're fucking savvy.
Okay, so I think there's the token lives on both Solana and ETH. The one with the most liquidity is going to be over on Ethereum. You can see the run it had. I don't know why, and I'm speaking directly to Mike Finch here. He brought it in chat, and he had already bought it 6-7 days ago. He was like, "Yeah, I got it at 24 cents." There was another person in our chat that did the same exact thing, saying, "Oh, I hit on another one." Drop the calls, folks. Drop the calls before you drop the result of the call afterwards. I'm literally dropping calls where you guys are getting in before me, like basically at an entry price below me, and I can't even get a Mike Finch Trump MAGA token call here. So I'm gonna drop it here in chat for y'all. You can take a look at it. But yes, the fees do go to the campaign. This is wild, and it's again why meme coins are so fascinating, because you want to FUD them, you want to FUD Bonk, you want to FUD Doge, all this stuff, and yet somehow they make their way into our lives on a weird, very direct level, and a lot of people don't get it.
Yeah. I don't.
It's 3 million.
Man. This is what a world we live in. You couldn't predict this. That a presidential candidate is dropping shit coins and people are eating them up.
Here's what's more interesting to me about that is that I actually think I'll be the first one to give credit where it's due. I just don't ignore the actual effect. I don't ignore all the fucked up shit too and pretend like it's all for a good cause here. But here's what's actually interesting to me is that I think possibly even by the next presidential cycle, this is all moving very quickly. I think even by the next presidential cycle, even using different types of tokenized fundraising is going to be almost commonplace. I think each campaign having their own token could be an excellent
lean in.
To raise money. I think it could be an excellent way for them to raise money when they're running campaigns to launch a fucking token. And I could even see a platform forming around this very idea of supporting political campaigns with their own meme tokens or meme coins or tokenized strategies. So I'm just saying, I think what's interesting to me is that he might be way ahead of the pack here by an entire election cycle of something that might become tremendously common in the future. So, again, credit to his team. And for him being enough of a money hungry whatever guy, I don't give a shit to say fuck it, go to town, boys.
Look, we're not going to get into the political stuff. He's the only political candidate that understands enough to hire those people and actually pull this off, and nobody else is doing that. It has reasons as to why he actually got the office in the first place.
Can we also?
Because he's not
like something that's not discussed is that if you were whatever type of actor, but you're not in the United States and you'd like to fund a certain political stance, this is a great way to do it, isn't it? So I don't know if you're Putin fucking North Korea, whatever. Like, what a
Yep.
fantastic way to fund this son of a bitch.
Well, now, dude,
Okay,
now
so-
Biggie, we got to stop you here because you're now leaning into the Elizabeth Warren platform, and we can't we can't go down that rabbit hole.
So some details here. It likely is that somebody is actually donating to his campaign via this token. So it looks like it's not coming like from Trump himself.
That makes more sense.
It's actually going to Trump and his campaign fund. So
in which case you're giving him way too much credit, Q, and
Yes,
it's just people profiting off of his brand and off of the election moment.
The other piece that I do want to add in here though that is associated with him, Huda's been on top of this, is the fucking Bitcoin ordinals play where you own 100 of his NFTs and you get a 1-of-1 Bitcoin ordinal. Did we cover that yesterday?
Yes,
we broke that yesterday, basically. Yeah. I mean, it's a bigger deal.
I really don't want to give it that much airtime. We mentioned it. It's a big deal. Huda covered it in his 5-minute video. He gave him a lot of credit. It's interesting.
Huda, do you have any last thoughts here? Since
No,
you're the one
funny
kind of covering
enough,
it?
like, my biggest takeaway is what we were just saying. It's the team. That team blows me away. So like in my video, I'm like, dude, if I were doing an NFT project, I would hire those guys. Like they're up on the meta. They're timely with their shit. There's just a lot going for that other than the obvious. So trying to think. I just think there's something really interesting about like a president, like one of the most famous human beings in the world, in world history, that's now on the forever blockchain, right? Like that's wild to me.
Well,
the thing that's crazy too is just like the thing that's kind of weird is that, but I'm not surprised, but I think there's like a bunch of campaign donation laws that I feel like should be coming into play here. But I feel like it's like whatever. I mean, like Trump has never been about following the rules of the law, right? Anyways, by the book. So I think they're skirting some things here as well, but I suspect that's why also some of these other candidates aren't jumping into this because there's a lot of gray area around a lot of different things legally related to this stuff, right?
That's fair.
I agree, man. I mean, yeah.
Great points. All right, I'm going to transition us a little bit. We have some other things to cover. Killabears had an interesting announcement, but maybe we could look at the market a little bit and see what's performing well over the last 24 hours. The AI trading card situation with Nakamigos is actually trading pretty high up here at 0.36. They're up 50% on the freaking day. Ether avatars looks like they're up. I have no idea why Lazy Lines. Valeria Games up in the winner category here. Nice to see. Artifact had an announcement just before we press live. That's probably why those are pumping. We can maybe take a look at that. And then maybe just the biggest losers here. It looks like My Pet Hooligan pulled back a little bit. Sappy Seals, Overworld. Yeah.
Floor's at 15 ETH. What the fuck, bro?
Grapes.
That's gonna be the next CryptoUndeads. So what's the platform where you can short? Wasabi, dude. I might go take out some short leverage on fucking Overworld right now because that's ridiculous.
Yeah, actually, when if we see a switch GIF, it worked. Like you leaning into that mic worked fucking perfect. So that'll be how we just figured it out. But Wasabi, the leverage protocol lets you take out perpetuals on and short potential NFT collections. All right. Any last topics you want to touch on, Raven? If you got to head out here shortly, we'll probably go for another 15 more minutes, folks. But Raven, what do you got, man? Anything you want to?
No, I think it's the DOTS is coming out next Wednesday. I think we didn't talk about Gen Art at all. I think if we want to do a quick talk about Gen Art, we started talking a little bit about before before we went live, but I think we should talk about the Gen Art market in general and how it's been kind of soft, at least on the traditional Gen Art side, on art blocks, drops, and some of the big generative artists have released stuff lately. And it just seems like they're not selling out, or it's just very minimal. So I was just curious your guys' take on that, and what do you think the future of that is?
It definitely felt like at one point it was SocialFi and art, and that was the only thing happening in the space. Like 3 months ago, that was like all the rage, and then once it started going in another direction, the market just is chasing meme coins, chasing NFTs. So I agree with you that like art market seems to be as a whole not doing that well.
Well, I think like y'all were saying that there's a natural cycle in general that things go through, and we definitely went through like a hype cycle around Gen Art for a lot of last year. It was a big year, and that's cooled off as other things pick up. And I think a lot of people are going to be waiting for the next catalyst, and also to see which of the narratives, the artists, and the projects persevere, continue to build, continue to show out, and grow the value of their collector base. And what that is, right? It's like, it's great to launch everything and everything's like going like this, but that's not sustainable. At some point there's corrections, and then there's going to be the ones that sort of like continue or separate themselves from the pack. And I think we're in that cycle where it's like, okay, everybody's taking a step back, looking elsewhere. At some point, the focus is going to return to Gen Art. And then it's going to be like, okay, picking winners, or which are the ones that are really going to like, take that next step. And a lot of that has to do with how the artists keep moving and keep building, and then some of it is just the market choosing winners and losers too.
Yeah. And on the high end too, like I think on the Fidenzas and on, the Tyler Hobbs, the Dimitri Cherniaks, like these high end Snowfro, these kind of the kind of pinnacle artists of the space. I think it also is going to take, how do we get the recognition to go beyond this space? Like I said before, kind of, there's two paths, right? You have kind of on the low end, you kind of go for the populist kind of route where you're in Walmart and you're, trying to get as many people into the space as possible. But there also needs to be an effort to really on that high end to get, institutions and museums and serious art collectors, traditional art collectors, to really appreciate these assets and to say, okay, this is really, as far as contemporary, if contemporary art is the art of the now, what's more contemporary than digital art, right?
The two people that I think are setting those standards right now are Rafik and Jack Butcher.
Yeah.
And I think you could argue Snowfro is probably doing things too to help with that. But he to me seems more of like the infrastructure guy. But like as far as getting it out there in front of more people and creating really innovative applications that actually matter, to me, I look at Rafik and Jack Butcher.
Yeah, and Rafik is, he got collected actually, this unsupervised collected by the MoMA, so that was a huge moment. I think, if we could see that, more MoMA collecting and some of these institutions collecting more digital art, specifically crypto art, and doing exhibitions, that's going to lift the tide up of the whole space, right? At least on the art side. So I think we still got a lot to do as an industry, and this is just the beginning. But I think we need to grow the appreciation and the education of this whole space. So I think that's the number one priority for all of us if we want to see this space grow.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Huda.
Well, I think the next time it cycles around, it may be just this massive like super cycle, because I think Bitcoin's going to have a large role in that next art cycle. The past one, Bitcoin, still the UX and just the experience over there. It's still young. It's still early. But now all of a sudden, over just the past couple months, we've got big name artists minting almost daily. Yesterday was Thank You X. Today was Kevin Abosh. We found out a couple weeks ago that Jack Butcher had minted those checks, and he did that almost a year ago at this point. So again, I think that attracts a different kind of audience. It's like we've talked about, a different type of money. I think it's really gonna demand some attention when that happens, and I think it's not an if, it's a when, right?
All right, Cats Fanatic saying Valeria was pumping because they announced emissions of Val token, and they will be starting soon. Someone swept 73 lands. Raven, appreciate everything, bro. We're going to drop your links here in the description for y'all after the episode. I'll drop it also in chat right now, and I will pull it up so you guys over at X can figure it out.
Appreciate you guys for having me on, and it's been a pleasure. Let's do this again soon, and looking forward to next Wednesday and to seeing what you guys all build with my stuff.
Dude, come back anytime, by the way.
Yeah, definitely. Take care.
Good stuff.
Later.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, man. Super talented.
The project's
really
awesome.
Yeah, I'm really stoked on it. I think there's many components and like positive unknowns, right? That can like be catalysts of adoption and creativity there that I think I don't know, there's a lot of exploration to be done with what he's building there. So yeah, I'm very, very pumped about what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna be there the minute the gates open.
All right, Biggie, let's close out this conversation we were having with art and where it is in the space right now, and kind of what momentum it has. But what do you have here up on the screen?
It was an interesting conversation that got started by Alejandro Cartagena regarding art. I encourage you all to read it. You know, it's not too woo-woo, but I think it's very clear. And look at the conversation that occurs in the bottom, you know, like in the responses. I think we need more of this conversation to occur in order to like define the place that we want to take this new canvas tool, right? I think when we look at, you know, the evolution of this technology, right, it goes hand in hand with the creativity that allows, right? And you have somebody like Raven that's really embedded in this space and is like thoughtfully thinking through of all these different scenarios that he can provoke or incite people into, you know, utilizing this technology and this dots and his creative powers to do stuff, right? Like high end, low end. You know, whether it's adapting. Snowfro also came up recently with a really great post regarding his thoughts on the current art market, which I encourage you to read. I do think we do need to do a better job, like he said, of stoking this conversation outside IRL. I think with the launch of different technologies like what IYK is doing for Fidgetals, what Luca's doing with Pudgy Penguins will also be applicable to the fine art space as well, right? While we wait for digital displays to be ubiquitous all over the world. In the meantime, though, I do think that when you are, I find it very useful to separate, you know, my collector bags between two, right? Like there's the fine art that I like to keep for a very long term, and then there's the collectibles, which sometimes are long term, sometimes you're looking to trade or flip through, right? But the last thing, and I know some people are gonna hate it, but the last thing that I ever really look at down the line is the floor. If it's art, it's different. You know, it's not a project. It's not a PFP project. It's not launching anything. Like, I am strictly looking at it from an aesthetic point of view. From the artist also, I think it is very important to see what his relationship with Web3 is. You know, somebody like Raven that's been a collector and has been in the space and building for a long time is very different than when somebody that comes from the outside world and tries to come in. And not to say that that's wrong either, right? But it's a very different mindset that you have to adopt. And we've all been there, right? Like, you almost have to switch those two different brains on and off several times during the day, right? To see what lens you're looking at something through. I'm really stoked. I'm bullish on art. I think you know, I am not phased whatsoever with the current lull. I'm actually welcoming it because it's an opportunity to collect, but it's also an opportunity to explore other things, right? Whether you're farming a new a new protocol, or you're trying something new in a different chain, like we've been doing with SEI. Like, it's just part of the cycle, folks. So don't panic.
I think, and I haven't read the whole post, so like this may or may not be fully applicable to Alejandro's take, whatever. But what I've seen, you know, we started to see this towards the end of last year with Rafiq starting to get out there and make those waves, like we were just talking about, outside of the Web3 space, that you started to see the institutions, the trad art space push back, but less than push back, like try and impose themselves on what we're doing in new ways. And to me, all I see is digital art is starting to become a viable asset class and something that's considered legitimate art because of all the work that us people in this space have been doing. And people like fucking Beeple, people like the godfathers of this, all the people in this space have been early to the foundations of what is now a legitimate digital art market. And all those people that have been ignoring it, naysaying it, pretending like we're just a bunch of fucking idiots, they are all going to be having to come around and about face over the next couple of years. It's going to be painful. It's going to be awkward. You're going to get a lot of stilted takes and bad takes. You're going to get a lot of angry people when they realize that they're losing their influence and power in the traditional art space in some regard. Whenever there's new people coming in, the old guard does not want to make any space or give up any of their influence, right? And that's the thing, is a lot of us here got it early. We understood that technology and art is creating a whole new renaissance, a whole new movement. And for the first time in all of history, digital art can now be collected, can be scarce, can be valuable. It can be a real appreciating piece, an asset. And so all of that is to say that I think this year you're going to continue to see the Jerry Saltzes of the world, the people that have been the old guard, whatever, the institutional art collectors and all of the big people. You're going to continue to see them try and impose themselves, saying how it should be. Oh, you shouldn't do this. Why are you that? Like, all they're trying to do is figure out their own place within something that we're building and try and own part of it for themselves and protect their own value and influence. And I think ultimately it's bullish because it shows that digital art is becoming something that people can no longer ignore. This movement is growing. It's becoming more important, more influential, more valuable every single fucking day that y'all keep showing up here and we're doing this shit together, and they're not going to be able to ignore it. They're not going to like it. A lot of them will come in and they'll get it and they'll take the time to understand it. A lot of them will still say, fuck y'all. You don't know what you're doing. You're just a bunch of idiot degens and you don't know what real art is. It doesn't matter. They're all going to have to reckon with it on some level.
Yeah, and it's going to have to propagate that too, right? I do encourage you to go read that piece by Snowfro, because it really shows you what like somebody that's been in the space as an artist is thinking through at the moment, right? And what I got from his take right now is that, like, all right, I've produced these different series of artworks, and now I'm going to dedicate some time. Instead of producing more, I'm going to dedicate time to disseminating these and to talking about them and spreading them far and wide. And I think you will see more artists, especially at that level, start doing that. You know, because you can't just keep churning out masterpiece after masterpiece. They take time. These things take time. And so, you know, if you're sitting there and you're angry at the floors and you're hounding these people to release another collection, to whitelist you into this, and why aren't you talking it up so that my floors don't gonna, you're missing the fucking point. You should be joining them and helping them distribute that culture and solidifying their collector base into a rabid fucking community that people want to belong to.
There's a lot here, we've already discussed a lot, so I don't want to really take us down a rabbit hole, but I feel like of all the sectors and of all the groups in crypto, because like Biggie's talking about, when you're talking to a crypto MFer, and it's one of the reasons we like the people here, is because they're multifaceted a lot of the times. You know, they have themselves in many different sectors all at once just by being here. You're talking finance, you're talking art, you're talking about tech. And that confluence of a lot of things is really fucking dope. So I will say, of all the sectors, artists are absolutely the most self-conscious about them having to explain why they're here. Like, nobody else really, like, I get it, but like the other sectors, they just do it. With the art, it's like we're constantly having this battle. Like the whole Rafiq Anadol stuff with the critic and all this stuff. Like, none of the other industries are really concerned that much. They just say, yeah, go fuck off. And then the last thing I'll say here is, like, from a top funnel perspective, it always makes sense to me what Yatsu always said was that we're moving into a digital environment. And so more and more we're going to be in that digital environment. And so with art, it feels maybe surface level, but it's the medium for me. Once people and we're in that quote unquote metaverse more often, whether that be augmented reality or VR, art is only going to proliferate even farther because people can't see that medium, in my opinion. Like we're just not there yet. We're in what the internet was in '99, and once that medium is there and we're in it every fucking day, then it just makes too much sense to me.
Q, okay, so again, I'm on this Vision Pro kick right now, and I will be probably for a while. Dude, I'm just such a big AR VR person.
What are you most looking forward to do with that thing, by the way, Hoot? I'm just curious.
Prawn.
No, I mean, I
prawn.
swear to you, it is the only thing that makes me not feel like I am where I am. It actually removes me from reality, and like I don't get that feeling anywhere else other than illegal things that I don't do anymore. It's wild how I can go there and I'm no longer anywhere, right? And time passes, and it's just the most magical place. I dreamed of that when I was a kid, and it's here now. And again, to me, the whole experience is magical. So yesterday I was watching a CNET review on the new headset, right? He's played with it a few times. He's given his honest opinion of it. My biggest takeaway there, what stood out to me the most was he had an F1 like racing car in his room because he was showing off different apps and what they can do and just saying, ultimately, there's not a lot there. And that was his example of it. He's like, it's really, really cool. Like there's so much detail to this. It's so awesome. That's going to be useful for you if you're like a car designer or, maybe just a car enthusiast or something. But if you're a professional to some degree, he's like, anyone else, I don't know. I'm like, no, that's where he's missing the thing of you can own that thing and have it sit in your house forever. No one else will see it, until we get tech a little further along and you can share experiences. But I'm like, this is where digital stuff becomes tangible to people. He can have that car simply because he wants it. Maybe it's $5, maybe it's $5,000. I don't know what it is, but if the thing's cool enough, people are going to buy it. And again, we're going to be decorating our lives. And it's not far off now, man. It's in 2 weeks at this point.
Yeah,
the start of it at least.
There's another singularity that we kind of talk about, but everybody talks about the AI, AGI singularity, where artificial intelligence becomes self-improving and basically no longer requires humans, and it just becomes a god on its own. That's the kind of popularized version of what a singularity is. But there's another singularity here. I've been talking for a long time that my whole perspective on what the metaverse even is that it is a time. It's not like a specific location. It is a time where our digital identities and our digital lives become more valuable than our physical ones. And we've had one leg in both. We've been slowly moving. It's like we're walking across a precipice, and at a certain point, it becomes a reality. We cross a threshold where digital life, digital reality, digital assets all become more valuable and more important than our physical ones. And I don't think we're quite there just yet.
Asia might be. Asia might be.
It might be, but as a global collective, we are slowly moving across a precipice, and at some point, we never return. And this headset is a big step in that direction. That's what I'm saying. The power of these headsets.
Item, I think.
Dude, the power of these headsets is going to blow people's minds and open up, and it's going to unlock the next generation of applications and experiences that are going to show people into a scary, powerful, awesome, whatever it is. It's going to be a new future where, again, our digital lives, our digital assets, all of that starts to become more and more prominent and more of a focus, more and more important.
All right, Jack Sideways saying Larry Fink will be the biggest influence on art NFTs. His focus and amplification of tokenizing assets is going to blow art along with everything else up. I'm hearing a lot of this RWA is going to be 2024. That's what I'm hearing. Obviously, the gaming folks want gaming to be a part of this cycle, but real world assets finally getting tokenized in mass.
Don't you just love all these acronyms that we're getting?
Yeah.
It's like, by the end, we're just talking acronyms.
Let's actually, maybe new language. Hugh, I don't know if you want to end it this way, but I would love, because I don't know that we've done yet at the beginning of this year. What are our big, bold predictions for 2024? Because I'll just say off the bat. Well, let's
end with that. But I got a couple more things. But I agree, right. We should totally end with that segment. I love it. All right, CryptoUndeads just had a Discord. I saw this like just across my timeline, so I actually want to play this. I know for a fact this is gonna slap. It says the feed when CryptoUndeads is revealed. So this is about to slap for sure. 30 seconds.
Yo, guys, did you see CryptoUndeads art? Did you see CryptoUndeads just revealed
their art?
CryptoUndeads just revealed
their art. CryptoUndeads just revealed their art.
So what do you guys think about the art?
Not gonna lie, it's pretty cool.
It's so bad. It's the worst pixel art I've ever seen.
Yeah, they were really creative on the background.
It would look a lot better at 50 sold.
Nah, it's probably gonna need 100 to look at least good.
Guys, I'm a pixel art maxi, and I'm gonna tell you right now, this ain't it.
Dude, come on.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm with this guy. Come on.
You guys
Dude,
just love the FUD.
You don't know shit.
You don't know shit.
You're just bullish on everything.
You
You're just flooding it it because you didn't get it. And
Stop fighting my
yourself.
bag.
Stop
You don't know
fighting my
shit.
bag.
Y'all see the crypto undeads art? We've literally been talking about this.
Where
bro.
have
You are
where
so
have you
late.
been
You're
talking
always,
about?
always late. It literally revealed a minute ago.
Yo, guys.
Oh shit!
So true, man.
I wasn't into that until that very last part. That was fucking awesome.
That was
it just came out.
That was an incredible summary of what this space is like every day. That was well done.
Just
Hey,
everyone
man.
yelling.
Thread guy says it, but we're not serious people. We're not.
That's part of why we like it here.
Yeah, damn straight.
All right, I'm gonna fly through some alfalfa here. I've been talking about these fucking on-chain dinos for a little while. Apparently, there's gonna be a token. The dinos get you eggs. It was like a $5 mint on base. It's like $100 now. I'm not advocating for this. I'm just following it. It's one of the few projects that I'm in on base, so I just kind of want to get that to you guys. But yeah, I was in the Discord the other day, and they're talking points and all that stuff for dino eggs. Killabears is going to Solana. I don't really want to play this whole thing. I'll just play it on mute. But it looks like Killabears, a Ethereum-based project, is on its way to being cross-chain. Do we have any thoughts on the Killabears stuff? Also, they released a pretty interesting trailer. People were like all about the trailer they released a week ago.
We're trailer maxis, Q. What are we doing?
Yeah.
You guys
Are we going to play the
Yeah,
trailer?
it's 3 minutes.
Oh,
Sure. We're halfway
Christ.
through. We still got
We
2
should
more hours.
let's play it at the end on the way out when we really wrap
Gift
up.
that just having a bunch of great ideas here.
let
That's a fantastic.
it just run
okay.
out at the end because we're
All
not
right.
going to watch the whole thing here.
You can see here, DGen News saying Killabears to migrate Ethereum-based Killabears and Killacubs NFTs to Planet Solana. Thoughts?
I like the Killabears, so that is very cool. I am very curious as to why they chose Solana and didn't go like the easier, I suppose, EVM route. But I'm sure they have their reasons. I do know that they did have like some staking mechanisms and upgradability and all that stuff. So obviously you do need like cheap transactions, but yeah, curious as to why they chose Solana. I mean, I know the narrative and there's definitely liquidity there, but it just seems like an EVM, something like base, would have been a little bit more adjacent and simple.
I think liquidity, it comes down, like if you throw out base, it's just liquidity.
But there's also you have less competition, right? I don't think there's anything, as serious as something like Killabears there versus Solana. You're definitely going to have your hands full over there, but that's fine. It's a great project. I do like it. It's one of those that I missed early on. And again, chasm of complexity, right? Like I just kept following it, and every time it was like something new, and now you have little Killabears and everything. And so anyways, but I wish them well.
Huda, any thoughts on Killabears GIF? Either of you?
I don't know enough about it to speak on it. I saw the trailer. I think it was cool. I just don't know.
How about the interchain movement? Just quick thought on it.
Oh, I love that. In general, I hope every asset is omni-chain, like just everywhere.
Where would you send them?
Everywhere.
Solana? Well, if you had to send one, if you had to send them to one chain, what would it be right now?
Conquered Cardano.
Yeah,
oh
right.
my god.
They're on
Cardano
ETH right now.
The mission
They're on ETH right now.
They're on ETH. Yeah, Solana makes a ton of sense. I mean, I want to see more heading to Bitcoin. Maybe I choose Bitcoin if I have to pick one, but Solana makes a ton of sense.
Okay.
Okay. I haven't fully watched the trailer. I'm excited to watch it at the end of this, and I don't know enough about it. But I think one of the interesting things that matters a lot with the whole space is timing and narrative. And I feel like what they're doing here is they're trying to feed into the like, fuck ETH, Sol is the future narrative. And so maybe that does well for them. Obviously we saw DeGods did it, and it may have been good to keep their hype train going a little bit longer, but did it ultimately result in a great situation long term? I don't know. That could be argued back and forth. I just think that they're trying to hit on a narrative here and get some additional volume and okay. Yeah, it gets them back in the conversation, right? Like who was talking about them? Now they're doing something.
All right, SP saying Fembot Singularity is upcoming here. Shia, nice to see you. Left Action House as well. Squash is saying, if everything is omni-chain, does provenance even matter anymore, regardless of chain? first of all, I think that combo is probably years out, or that situation, I would say. We're like 8 years from that, where everything is super interchain. Maybe not 8. I would say maybe 4. But yeah, in my opinion, we're still very long on the timeline for that.
Left Action House saying Pulse Chain.
All right. Real quick, I'm going to fly through this, guys. Again, we do have a SEI show happening tomorrow. It's going to be at 11 p.m. Eastern on X. It's going to be called Say What? So we're going to be doing a little bit of that. I want to go through some SEI updates here real quick, and then I will.
Are you called the Dob Father now, Q, within the SEI like Discord system?
Did you hear that or something?
I don't know.
I've been saying it everywhere I go.
The Dob Father.
The Dob Father? I haven't heard that. I appreciate the Dob family for sure.
I can't wait, man. That's going to be fun.
The naked Dobs are testing me every day. Literally, I go in there and say GM, and they're like, win naked. Anyways, this is a little bit of alfalfa for y'all. So the Saiyan Council applications are live. So Saiyans are doing this 100 one-of-one collection specially designed for the most esteemed members of the SEI community. It's an open application. I'll drop it there in chat. If you're in the SEI community, you think you're worthy, definitely fill that out. And Saiyans are pumping off that news. A quick update over here on pallets. Saytopia was a free mint. It's now 800 SEI. Faded that. Definitely, it like popped up in the morning, and I just wasn't quick enough. So these low supply mints seem to be the only ones doing well at this point. So we know about a lot of these smaller ones, right? What was the one that was bullshit and fucking was talking shit?
Nobody cares.
Nowhere to be seen, huh?
Yeah, Say Subjects, Quex, all of these like higher end mints that are like more so, the 3,300 supply. They're not doing that well. And there were a couple this morning that didn't hit as well. So, Saiyan's pumping. It looks like Dobbs are at 360, kind of holding.
Yeah, what is your long-term view on Dobbs?
He's writing up the thesis as we speak.
I mean, they're cool and their community is fantastic. They are they're
Bored
everything
apes.
about them I like.
It's the Bored Apes of SEI.
Yeah.
I know that's tongue in cheek, but I will also hold my tongue in my cheek here and say it is the Bored Apes of SEI. Like
that's what it is. I'm not holding any tongues in any cheeks. When I say it's the Bored Apes of SEI, what are you talking about?
Yeah, they've been able to attract. I think it's probably because of the art, and the art just slapped and attracted some people. And they've been able to get some sub DAOs in there that are really good. Timing, of course.
Good art
at
a really important time when there was no other good art PFPs on this fucking blockchain, and it was starting to pick up.
Now I just need to dob down and fucking rock it, right?
Good vibes.
So the naked naked DAO actually this is just interesting. Like even Doodles and a couple other larger projects went through this, right? Where if you have a trait that's seen as popular, maybe not even on like Rarity Sniper or anything, but just like the naked DAO is a good example of like something that's organic and really leading to a lot of really cool vibes and just quality, right? Because most of these, like you go into a Discord and you're like, this is fucking bullshit. Like this is just, there is no community here. People are here for 10 seconds to see if this thing fucking goes to 80 SEI so they can jump. And then you go into some others and there's actual things happening. So a long term on Dob, the only cap I have, Huda, is what happens with SEI in general. That's
so if you're bullish on SEI, you believe Dobbs going to be around here as one of those top collections?
The top.
Wow.
The top.
More than we bump now.
Yes.
Right.
If I had to guess, I think WeBump will do extremely well. That's why I'm exposed to all of them. But yeah, Dob is going to be that vibe ish project, and hopefully they can build something off that. I guess that is a risk, but I'm fully in on the Dob, man. Their community is very strong early, and we'll see where it goes.
Full transparency, we have Dobbs, and we like.
We're all Dobbs. We're all
Dobbed.
Speaking of one other project, and guys, if you have anything on SEI, let me know before we jump out of here. But the Colony, and they are working with an artist here. It looks like to release a potential.
Gaddish.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to be working with this I guess sold one. We haven't seen any art on SEI. That has been a topic of conversation as well. So I know of a couple that are potentially launching here in the next week, and then this one just came across here. So big fan of Colony NFT team and community, and appreciate all they've done. With that said, I am pleased to announce that all Colony holders have a shot at whitelist for my upcoming collection. So we finally get some SEI art here, folks.
Very nice. Yeah, I like it.
All right.
See the Dobbs get in on some of that action. That'd actually be great because I have not been looking over there. Maybe they got alpha and like whitelist opportunities, and I've just not seen. I got to start watching, I think.
It's interesting because the naked Dob has gotten whitelist, because I don't think the Dob team is really focused on this whole, we're going to get a whitelist for every project that comes out and all that stuff. But the Dob, the naked Dob team has. So if you have a little bit extra, they're going for like 2x floor price, 3x floor price.
Oh, maybe I'll dump a couple and grab one.
Yeah, or get in if whitelists are your thing, which we could have this combo after. It feels like we're going down a
we're going to be
detail
talking about all of the details and more tomorrow on Say What.
That's right.
On the Web3 Network X, first ever dedicated SEI show. And we're going to start doing those regularly at 8 p.m. PST, 11 p.m. over there on the weird side of the country. But tomorrow night, Saturday, is the first ever Say What on the network. And we're just going to be going all in on SEI.
I'm hoping we can figure out maybe not an 11 p.m. I didn't know we were locked in on the weekly
late night DGen. We'll play with it how we go, but it's late night DGen, Q.
Yeah, I love it. All right, I got you.
Right.
All right, so that's happening tomorrow. We will keep you guys in the know. You'll see some tweets about it. Biggie, I've got Focus up here if you want to touch on that, and then we'll bounce out.
Yes, I think you guys will like this. I just found it. Not financial advice, and do your own research and all that, but okay, backed by Coinbase, backed by A16, backed by a bunch of fucking heavy hitters, based on the Dezo blockchain. Have you heard of Dezo before, Q?
No,
I didn't
school me
until now, but I'm still looking into their consensus mechanism because I'm a nerd like that, but that shouldn't deter you because I just said some pretty solid safe words there for you. Basically, it is an L1 blockchain purpose built for social media platforms. So basically all of your content, your pictures, your comments, your interactions on social media are stored in the blockchain and belong to you, not the fucking platforms. This is the first apparently serious social media venture of theirs. They had a different one called Diamond, which is like Twitter. But this is, I mean, look at 47 million it was able to raise. If you can go up, Jack Ma apparently bought like fucking 1 million of this thing. I don't know if it's the
Jack Ma's still alive,
right?
I thought he got off.
He got kneecapped by the Chinese government and then just
Jack Ma, but
disappeared.
There's a lot of faith being put behind this project. It's got a very interesting contribution mechanism where it's like a stake. If you have a couple of days to stake whatever amount you want into this protocol, and you'll get 100% bonus back. So if you stake, I guess 10 SOL, you're going to get 10 SOL back, and you're able to withdraw the original, from what I understand. Read through it because this was like a late night thing that I stumbled upon last night. I did not sleep a lot because I was pretty impressed, and I still am. I have not aped into it yet. You have 5 days to do so, but I do think I will be contributing to this thing. It's very interesting. But I do encourage you to just do a little bit of research, a little bit of reading, and then come to your own conclusions.
If anything, it's a white paper that you could read as you're going to sleep. I mean, just some research.
Yeah, it's great going to sleep material, right, Q? Yeah, Dezo was the developer for Dezo was the guy that developed BitCloud. So he learned some stuff, and we all, apparently founders that learn eventually stumble upon successful recipes for it. But you're right, Choina, fucking badass. I need you over here, man. But yeah, I'm pretty. This is one where I think I will be partaking. I really like what I'm seeing there. Do look into the Dezo blockchain as well, just to understand like why it's so powerful.
SocialFi platforms are very interesting because, and I guess you could do this technically with, if you're like a blockchain sleuth and you can go and see people's wallets and attach it to their profiles. But SocialFi kind of throws it out in the open. Like you see who's actually investing very openly, and it's attached to their Twitter profile. Very, very interesting dynamics happen when you're able to actually know who's getting in, who you're buying into, and all that stuff. It's fascinating to me when a lot of that stuff is obfuscated and they say, oh, it was a $3 million raise. It's like, no, there's 46 mil. And oh, by the way, High Key and, 0x, who was the other guy? 0x Vault. All these guys are involved. It's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I didn't know this, but Choin is highlighting something there. I did have a BitCloud account, so I'm going to look into it. Did you have to do something to have your BitCloud assets turned into Dezo, Choina? Do you know, or did it automatically happen? I'm gonna wager that you had to like do some hoop jumping thing, and we're left out in the cold. But you never know. I'm gonna check into my wallet and see if.
All right,
I'm lucky.
I love that. And I dropped focus.xyz in the chat just now for y'all. It'll be in the description. All right, Gifted, we're gonna go out with 2 of the segments because I like it. I like the ideas. You're obviously coming up with a bunch of good stuff on the weekly. But we are going to go out with Killabears trailer, but let's talk about our biggest, what were you calling it? Like our biggest
big bold predictions for 2024. I just wanted to say, whenever I hear BitCloud, I want to also think briefly about Friend Tech and how we called it. That was BitCloud 2.0.
It didn't have to be. Racer threw that into the ground. Like he had something there, and he just
see how quickly this guy gets triggered when you say Friend Tech.
Well, because he actually had something, and he just like literally
Everybody felt the same way about BitCloud at the time. Q. That's why we called it BitCloud 2.0. Yes, people poured all their Bitcoin into it.
But was it just because of the founder nuking it into the ground is why it stopped? Because that's exactly
and also because they couldn't
did.
Actually, it wasn't actually a viable business model in any sense of the term. They couldn't.
But that doesn't apply to Friend Tech. But it was literally the guy nuked it into the ground.
But it was definitely a project that I think was very hastily spun up and launched, right? Whereas you can see with this one, there's a lot more thoughtfulness that went into it, even from the fact that it's like on a purpose-built blockchain for that, right?
I believe you. Anytime you say BitCloud, I want to point out that there was some of us up here calling that one. Anyway, all right. Big bold predictions.
I want to briefly say, like, you guys, I don't know if I know for a fact you guys didn't follow Friend Tech and its collapse, but really what happened there was he nuked airdrop
0.01 ETH in there, sir.
Yeah. So he basically nuked airdrops for everybody and didn't handle any of the Sybil bots that were farming on the token. And everybody was like, okay, I'm here. I've got all my stuff. Why don't you reduce trading fees to 5%? Why don't you handle the Sybil bots? And why don't you increase airdrop rewards for people that are here earlier? And he literally did the exact opposite of all that and just nuked it into the ground. And it was just like, are you a psychopath on meth? Because all you had to do was nothing, and this thing would still be around.
At some point, we're not right now. We're gonna have to bring up their trailer video.
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
We'll bring that back next week. All right. Anyway, again, I'm sorry. I had to do it. I had to bring it up. I triggered you. That was my fault. We're trying to wrap this up. Look, big bold predictions 2024. Let us know in the comments. What are your biggest, boldest predictions for what's going to go down this year in Web3 and all this crazy space? I will say one is that I do think towards the second half of the year, later half of the year, we start to see the RWA real world assets really heat up. I think 2025 is going to be the year when RWAs become like a real fucking thing. But I think just like we saw a lot of things heating up, like gaming in the second half of last year. I think in the second half of this year, RWAs are going to have a moment. And then I guess big bold predictions. I think that base, like I've been saying, I think base is going to surprise people with some stuff, just because of how it's situated, the fact that it's Coinbase's own blockchain, that there's going to be. And I want to say one quick thing on that. When we were talking about Toshi yesterday, famous Dill popped into the show, and he actually had a good point. He said, if they aren't going to have a token, which they don't, and they might never have a token, then a lot of that liquidity that goes on that chain is going to actually look for what is the native token of that chain. And so the meme coin Toshi that we're all thinking is like the primary meme coin might actually even have additional legs there because there's not a base token sucking up more of that liquidity over there. I thought that was an interesting point.
Yeah. First of all, yes. But, like, that is the number one thesis behind Toshi. My thesis behind Toshi too is like, there is no token. That will be the bonk / Doge / whatever. Persk over here saying prediction number 1. I will yet again fumble generational wealth. And
no, Pablo, not that way.
Yeah, I'm there too, bro.
Not happening. You're a veteran.
That's probably the most likely prediction that we'll hear on the show today. I will say, unless you guys want to go first. You guys want to go first?
I'll say one more. I actually am believing. I'm believing more and more in the flippering. I think it happens.
Nope. Yep. No way. Doesn't happen. Okay, so I'll be quick. I've already talked about gaming being what I'm obviously leaning very heavily into. So I don't think that's even a bold prediction at this point. I will say Bored Ape Yacht Club, the other side will not hit. That will be my bold prediction. If we're making like very bold predictions, I want it to hit so bad.
Well, okay. How do you have that prediction and then
wrong?
I want to be wrong, dude. I do.
But how can you predict that, but then not that Pudgy Penguins flip the Bored Ape? Because
That's
if
fair.
that happens, they flip the Bored Apes.
That's fair. It's a good point. I'm really at this point, it's just hopium that I'm just like, it's not going to flip, and I don't think it'll flip.
But so are you saying you don't think it drops, or you just don't think
I don't think it'll
as
hit.
good as?
Yeah, it'll drop and not hit.
Okay. Wow.
So I'll do that. I will also say Mochaverse NFTs, and I should have let off with this in that like list of things that obviously pumped. The worst fade of all time. I mean, I am Animocha, like I bleed blue. Like Yatsu had me as a fucking disciple, and I just decided I'm gonna fade everything they drop from an NFT perspective, whether that be grapes or Mochaverse. It makes no fucking sense to me. And I sit there and look at Mochaverses at 4 ETH, and I know that they're gonna go to like fucking 15 in the bull market. So that's my other big bold prediction. Mochaverse NFTs will fucking continue to pump into perpetuity.
Don't you make me FOMO into one of those, man. Jesus.
Not financial advices.
God damn it.
Huda, your hat perturbs me. You lost your thunder. What happened?
Just swapping quickly, and I grabbed the wrong one.
All right. Let's hear it from both of you. We're almost at 2 hours. I know we want to have these shows
These
be long, but 2
Friday
hours will be.
shows.
Let's do it.
Man, I love that. All right, let me give you a couple. One. Hang on. One. Okay, Bitcoin becomes the blockchain for art. So that's number 1.
That's pretty big.
2. We are going to get our first very legit AR VR type NFT collection.
It's fair.
Just one. And 3, the SEC will obliterate at least one major NFT project. Obliterate.
You put way more thought into yours than I did, and all of those are going to happen. Yes,
It's all right. Q. Well, since this was kind of sprung on us last minute, we'll also maybe come back Monday and see if anybody's got anything to add, and then we're closing it out after Monday. No more big bold predictions. They're locked. This is your primer. This is your first attempt, your rough draft, and then we'll try and refine our big bold predictions on Monday.
I guess big. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like it. All right, Biggie. First of all, Huda, that was fantastic. But Biggie, go ahead.
All right. Music, because I need it to happen. I need it now. Not fucking next cycle, this cycle. Make it happen. I don't know who our artisan is going to be, but I need it to happen. Second of all, it's going to be a mobile app. Ginormous. I don't know if it's going to be a game or if it's going to be social-fi, but it's going to be mobile, primarily mobile. It's going to be crypto in the back, and it's just going to fucking slap, hit, and fucking take off. And I don't know, man. The third one, I can't. Those two, I'll settle for those two for right now. I don't want to push it and come up with some crazy wild idea.
I'll +1 on the music thing. I think that this year we are going to see some Web3 native song or whatever that actually does go fucking mega viral. I think we have one of these big sort of Web3 music moments that starts to actually like get people legitimately interested in what Web3 music does specifically. And I'm not talking about fucking Kings of Leon or Soulja Boy coming in to fucking extract a bunch of value and crypto from the space. I'm talking about somebody launching something that is Web3 native from the community.
Generative music, maybe GIF.
I don't know what it is.
I could lean into that more. I like that more.
I do think actually, to your point, generative music will become a bigger thing towards the second half of this year, maybe even first half. But I think that the tools are getting much better and they're getting integrated and more widely distributed, and a lot more people are using them in their creative processes. So I think generative music is going to have some more of those like Drake moments where something crazy goes viral that shocks people. I agree with that. But to me, the thing that's going to really make music NFTs pop is when the dream of a bunch of people, you know, supporting an artist or a song early actually distributes some value back to the community, and everybody gets to like provably say, I was there before you, and get something out of that. And then everybody says, yo, that's fucking incredible.
I just don't think it can happen. Like there's that example in sports as well. It's like, oh, you could fund this athlete, and if they ever become LeBron James, then the guys that were there early, it's just like the regulation around that stuff.
It hasn't had its halo moment. It hasn't had its halo moment.
No,
bro.
I think there's just like a regulation thing around it. And I'm with Squashman, man. I've wanted to have music NFTs hit for 3 years. And
we've talked about like two very tremendous potentials, like for onboarding people, right? Like real world physical stuff like the plushies and 90cc like wearables and stuff like that. We talked about gaming. I think music is that third one, man. Music just brings people together like nothing else. And you know, I think we're going around looking at it the wrong way. Like we're gonna maybe like fund some artist and own their singles and make all this money. It might not be that same route, right? Like whether it's generative art, like somebody developing like a Botto type of artist, but for generative music that just slaps and hits and it's like belongs to a community. I don't know. I don't care. I just realize and know the potential that music has to traverse language, barriers, ethnicities, everything. If you want to fucking onboard people, you're not going to want to wait till the fucking next cycle. Do it in this one. You can do it in this one. And I know there's people out there that are working on it, man. I'm looking. I'm just keeping my
I want that to hit.
I mean, I still struggle with seeing the use case, like the music Web3 use case, like period, except the best version of it I think I saw, or the most potential, was in the Linkin Park dude who did that drop on Tezos.
Oh, fuck
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Every iteration of that mint was its own unique version of the song. The stems are mixed, so it was generative audio. And to me, that was the first time I'm like, oh, now that would be cool if somebody gets like a rare version, or the community's voting on which one's like the single that goes out to the radio stations and you get royalties play off of that somehow. Like to me, that was the first time I saw it. And I'm like, that's different. You can't do that in the real world, really. And I think that would work. Other than that, though, to me, it's just tickets. And why the fuck is nobody doing concert posters as NFTs? Because that should happen right now.
Yeah.
Quick throwback off of Huda's mention here. That's Mike Shinoda on NFT Live, like
damn,
2 or 3 years ago.
Dude,
this is an absolute
he was
throwback.
Still living in his mom's basement. Look at him.
That's
and
wild.
I remember watching this and it was a little bit awkward, but Ronan got him to say our vibe, our tribe, and it was hilarious.
Wow.
And it was yeah. But just like in case anybody doubts when we say that NFT Live is the longest running consistent NFT Web3 show in the entire fucking space, there's actual proof out there, fam. There's over 15, there's almost 1,600 videos just on this one main channel, and there's like hundreds of videos on other fucking channels. So yeah, this is crazy to see. Yo, Q, just quick reminder.
I'll play
it. Just quick reminder that in 10 minutes we have a call.
Yeah. We're done. We're done. All right, here, let's see it.
You just want me to say it? Yeah, just be like, that's literally at the end of the show. It's like, hey, appreciate you guys. Our vibe, our tribe. We're out.
Appreciate you guys. Our vibe, our tribe. Thank you guys for having me.
That's
crazy. Fucking awesome. Holy shit.
It was so
cool.
awkward watching it in real time, though. I was like, "Oh, is he gonna do it? Is he gonna do it?"
Okay, we do have a call upcoming. I look, a lot of great freaking comments coming through. First of all, again, prediction number one, we're gonna fumble generational. I hope it doesn't come to pass. Justin Casey is saying Mochimon's NFTs next week for Mochi, which is the other meme coin along Toshi. A lot of great predictions here. Pop-up urban augmented reality street art galleries will hopefully be a trend. Justin Casey's talking about the wax curse. Catherine X saying my 2024 prediction: we will be even richer in friendships from this bull run than we were from the last one.
I like that.
Shout out to Cats. Nick is saying wax makes biggest comeback of all time. This year is the most unlikely to happen. Amazon Prime. Justin said Amazon Prime becomes the go-to launch pad for gaming.
Wow.
Troy is saying my prediction is for Avagachi to claw its way back into the Rate My Bags A tier.
Yes. Yes.
You know, and
Christian
I like the
Jensen-
Amazon. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well, I like the Amazon Prime predictions, but one interesting thing to factor into this now is Twitch starting to lose its standing with a lot of gamers, and I think it's still a big deal. But you know, Amazon of course owns Twitch, and that's been its sort of like way in to gaming. But also, I think a lot of people are starting to explore other alts.
Bold prediction: OpenSea will shut down or get acquired. I love that take. I think it's an out there take that may or may not happen, but damn.
Okay, shut down, get acquired, or drop token.
Drop
one
token,
of those.
We jump on them, then they shut down.
Justin Casey says President Trump and Gifted collab in 2024. Let's go. All right, I don't know what I'm doing there. Anyways, all right, guys, we have to get up out of here. Friday episodes have been lit. Huda, do you have the show tomorrow, by the way?
Yeah, live show in the morning, 8:15 a.m. Eastern time. Biggie Poppins will be there like he's been the past 3 weeks. It's fucking awesome. It's super chill. Come hang out. I think that's it. Talking Quantum Cats.
Oh,
so
yeah.
You're going to start and then bookend your day here with all of us again. So we all again, we're going 11 p.m. at night. Huda's going 8:30 in the morning. That's wild. Just full day of content.
I may pop in there too. Like, don't discount me.
Wait.
I'm a dob too, Q.
Is that tonight?
No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, cool.
Say what?
Say what? I love that, by the way.
All right, look, this has been the longest episode we've done in a long time, and I fucking love the vibes. You guys, let's rock it out of here. Thank you so much for tuning in to NFT Live, by the way. Our vibe, our tribe. Huda, let's go around the box here.
Alpha, look at Glass Punks over on base. Nothing else. Just look into them. Look at Piv, the creator. You got to look at those.
Oh, shit.
See you guys Monday.
More things to do. Thanks, Huda. OVOT fam, I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Please be safe. If you do drink, do not drive. Get an Uber. You can afford it. After all, you're going to be rich by the end of the cycle. But if not, we'll catch you maybe tomorrow on the AM or on the PM. And if not, on Monday. Love you.
Yeah, that was really well said. And just massive love and appreciation for everybody who hangs out with us on these new Friday episodes. They're a lot of fun getting to kick back with y'all, and very excited for our first dedicated Say space is over there on X tomorrow night. Go share that. Hopefully we can drop it in the chat over here. But either way, if you're just hanging around Saturday night, you want a cool place to chill and maybe dig in for everything happening on the Say ecosystem, that's the spot to be. And we appreciate all y'all who are sharing out the shows and participating. Y'all are the fucking goats. Our vibe, our tribe. Y'all know what it is. Let's fucking go.